Hi everybody, my name is Jo and I love to read. Today I'm going to be doing the frustrating books tag. I was tagged in this video by Rosie Cockshut back in December of last year. I will leave a link to her channel down below because she is one of the most friendliest and nicest people on BookTube and also reads very interesting books and very different books. If you want some variety, definitely go follow her channel. Again, I'll leave the link down below. This tag was created by the PM Reader and I will also leave a link to her channel down below. And as the name says, this is a tag all about what frustrates you about books. Question 1. Name a book that you predicted would be 5 stars but wasn't. This will probably have to be the second and the third book. I'm going to go 2 and go for some bonus points first off. In the Teeling series by Erica Johansson. I read the first book, The Queen of the Teeling, and absolutely loved it. And this was really fantastic because I wanted to read it just because of the cover. I just saw the cover, it drew me in, and I really wanted to continue on. I was eagerly awaiting the next 2 books in the series. The second one was okay. It was a bit of a letdown because I was hoping 5 stars, but you know, whatever. And then the third one came out and again I was hoping 5 stars and it just wasn't, and the ending was very disappointing, so that was sad. Question 2. What book had a great beginning but the ending let you down? I'm not really sure. Let's have a look. I literally cannot think of what to pick for this because luckily either the book has been so terrible from the beginning that I've DNF'd it. The only other thing I could say was to repeat myself again and say the third book in the Teeling series, because again it was okay at the beginning. I wouldn't say that the beginning was great, like it was good but it wasn't great, but the ending was just oh man, terrible ending. Question 3. Do you have a book with a pretty cover but an ugly spine? We've got the spine here that's probably not really its fault that it's ugly, like it is dying, but and then you've got like this beautiful illustration on the front, so we'll go with that. 4. Do you have a book series that doesn't match? Yes. Does it bother you? Yes. It always bothers me. Why? I've got two real main issues with this. Number 1 is, why do publishers change covers halfway through? I know it's like marketing reasons and all that kind of stuff to try and like appeal to a wider range of audience, but at least finish it in the original covers and then bring it in again with new covers. And then my second gripe is when I'm trying to buy books online and the sellers display them and they're not the right cover, and then I buy a book trying to get the right cover and it's not the right cover. And then it also annoys me, this is like point B of this second point, is when booksellers, even when you go to the trouble to email them and say, is this actually the cover? A lot of them are just like, don't check. Don't check. And I mean, yes, the book is about the words, not the cover, but I'm privileged enough to be picky with it, and I want to know that I'm getting what I'm paying for. That what I'm paying for is what I want. Number 5. Is there a book from your youth you can remember parts of but cannot remember the name or find it anywhere? Yes and no. This used to be yes. The one that sticks out to me when I think of this is a horse book I read when I was a teen, unsurprisingly, if you're following this channel. It was something that the girl moved across to this new place, like across the seas, but it might even have been from Australia to New Zealand or vice versa, so not really that far but still across the seas. And she rode this black horse, and I can remember the atmosphere of the forest and things like that, but for the longest time I could never ever remember the name. And it was one that me and my older sister used to borrow from the library and read. And for a while there I couldn't actually remember what it was, but I have actually found it in, well, years ago I found it because this is like a story from ages ago, but it was something that I never thought that I would know the title of, but I do, and that is Dark Horse by Heather Cato. So I will probably buy that and try and read it again and hopefully not be sad that maybe I'll enjoy it and maybe it's just nostalgia. Question 6. Are there any books that you're certain you've read but you cannot remember anything about? I'm honestly rubbish at remembering stuff if I can't see them, so I don't know. My only thing that I would say to this is kind of amusing but annoying for you guys, is literally I spend a lot of time in my wrap-ups when I'm wanting like that you don't see that I've, you know, edited out because it'd be boring, is I am sitting there going, you need to describe this book, but I will literally have like 5 goes before I can coherently describe it to you. Like with The Queen of the Teeling in the first question, that took me so long to spit out a description of that book, even though I loved it and I can clearly know what happened. For some reason I just go blank when I have to try and describe a book, and it takes me forever to actually get out what I want to say. Question 7, and I'm gonna again look down because I can't remember all of this off the top of my head. Have you ever recommended a book you love to someone and they started telling you everything they don't like about it? I don't think so. Does it bother you? In other words, do your feelings get hurt when someone doesn't love one of your favourite books? No, because that's something that I often face myself, in that people will loan me books, or in the past, they don't so much anymore because I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going to accept any other books. But there was a friend of mine who moved away but has since recently moved back, that we would loan books to each other all the time and like swap them around, and that was really fun because I read some really good books with her and I got to discuss them with people. But I remember she loaned me one book that I really didn't like, but I pushed myself to read it because I didn't want to not enjoy it. But then I loaned her one and she started to it and then just said that she didn't get into it. So then vice versa, when it happened again with one of her books that I didn't like, I told her. So that's okay, and it doesn't bother me because I know myself that I would hate to force myself to read a book that I didn't enjoy, so it's never going to offend me. Maybe if they, I don't know, even if they made a big deal about saying what they didn't enjoy about it, I'm pretty good at having a healthy discussion and poking fun at books that I really enjoy. I can see flaws in things and still enjoy that, and that doesn't bother me. I actually find it really interesting discussions, and I find it pretty funny too, so that'll never offend me. Number 8, what is your worst experience loaning a book to someone? I don't know if I've told you guys about it, but it was the second book in the Vampire Academy series, Frostbite by Michelle Mead, the second book in the Vampire Academy series. I don't know in hindsight why I decided to loan this book out to this friend. I think probably because I've loaned her books before in high school and she gave them back and that was fine. But we kind of like drifted apart. Well, not drifted apart, but like after high school she moved away for a bit, blah blah. She came back into town and we started hanging out, and she'd sort of changed a bit, which I'm sure I had as well, but she told me all about how she would shoplift and ways to do it, and about how security was really lax in this particular mall, this particular store in the mall where we live. And I was a bit like, okay, I don't not my, you know, I don't support it, but you know, we used to be really good friends in high school, so. And it must have been like a little bit, I don't know, I obviously didn't connect the fact that loose morals means that she probably won't give me my book back, but I loaned out my book to her to read. And I really enjoy loaning books to people because I love sharing it with them, and I love fostering people's reads, and it friggin' shits me how high school English gets you to read really boring books, which I'm sure turns people off reading because they think that they're horrible. So I really enjoy if someone wants to borrow a book off me, like 100% I will let them borrow it. That doesn't bother me, but I also always have like this trusting nature that they're going to give it back, and I probably should have tweaked with her character, but she borrowed it and then didn't give it back, you know, whatever. And then it got to the point where I was thinking about rereading the series, and I was a bit kind of like, I might try and like get it back because it's been like 6 months, and so I messaged her, no reply. Like she just ignored me, completely ignored me whenever I try and message her, and I actually got to the point where I was like, hey, like I will drive like the half an hour to come see you to pick it up. I will pay for postage for you to send it to me. Like, I just want it back. And the reason I was so annoyed about it, because, you know, realistically, again, I'm privileged enough that I can go out and buy another copy of the book and it won't make a dent in my life or anything like that. But the reason I wanted it back is because my mum, when I was in high school, my mum used to buy the Vampire Academy series for me because I didn't have a job, and I would actually give her books to read in hopes that she would enjoy them and then thus decide that she would buy the series instead of me having to save up my pocket money. And she would always buy them and write like a cute little note in them and then give to me after she'd finished reading it. And so now that note is gone. But I did buy another copy, and I'm pretty sure I got her to write in it as well, and I explained to her what happened. Yeah, and so she wrote something in, you know, which is obviously not the original, but I asked her for my birthday or Christmas and she did. So happy ending, I guess, minus that copy. I'll just have to be a better character next time. Question 9, show me some of your impulse buys that you've never read. You know, the ones you bought at midnight while online shopping, or when you're walking through a bookstore and the magic of all the books made you grab a few too many, and we can't forget all those books at such a good price that somehow made it into our shopping bags. I am guilty of this, like literally. Even though the fact that I want to give my get my TBR down to 0 is such like a talked about concept on my channel. I never used to be, I wasn't like this before. In another life, not so far away, I would buy books all the time. All the time I would. And I'm sure there are plenty that I just bought out of an impulse. Probably the most impulse purchasey that I did learn from, even though I still continued to buy a lot of books. It's the series that told me, don't buy all like 6 books or 10 books, I think it was something like that, in the series if you haven't read the first couple and don't know whether you're going to continue. I bought the entire Vampire Diaries series by LJ Smith off eBay because it was a great deal. Wasn't really, I still think it cost me like 60-70 bucks or something. It's just probably like a good deal, but still, in one go, for a series that I didn't know that I liked. And I read the 4 in the original series that she wrote, and then the ones after that she was contracted to write when the TV series got popular by the publishers. I tried to read them and didn't, like, it just kind of went off the rails from there. I learnt from that. Don't buy the entire series if you don't know that you're gonna like it or not. So I'm a lot more cautious now, and I ended up unhauling a lot of those books. And question 10, just to make you hate me a little bit more, how many unread books do you have on your shelf? I don't hate you. Not at all, because we know who I am. I think at this point that I'm filming, I've finished 1, I had 17, so I would have 16 unread books, 2 of which are currently being read, so I'm getting there. Thanks everybody so much for watching the frustrating book tag. I'm going to tag 2 people in this. I'm going to tag Moose from her channel Ara Moose. I will leave a link to her down below, and also Tori from Hufflepuff Discovery. I will leave a link down to her channel as well. You guys do it. I'm sorry if you've already done this and I'm tagging you in it. It was a lot of fun, this tag, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks so much for watching my channel. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Give me a comment if I've inspired you to do so, and hit the subscribe button if you want to see more from me. See you guys next time. Bye!